the topic that I'm going to be covering today, I guess, will be a topic of postmodernism and the kind of consequences and the reasoning as to why people are kind of doing and thinking this way. Um, Not really as of why they're thinking this way and why, but just kind of the consequences and reasonings as to why it's bad. Unlike people who just say, oh, SJWS and this and that, I think that's kind of a dumb reasoning. I do that, like, when I'm, of course, kind of just on casual, right? Like, when I'm online, on Twitter, yada yada, doing other shit, right? Like, when I'm on the internet and shit. Like, just casually, I'm gonna just be like, yeah, you fucking SJW. So, just casually. Kind of leftist, all those type of shit. All those definitions. Because they all intertwine. Even, like, the former Liberal Party kind of does now. But on topic, part one's going to be kind of the topic of double standards that people have. One of the things that these people are known for, right? If I say, I go like, hey, like, I'll be like, I'll open the door for someone. Like nowadays, like opening a door for a woman back in the day. Like, not even back in the day, just was considered kind of respectful, right? Respectful thing to do, pull the chair out, yada yada, you're a gentleman. This day, it's like, I can do it myself. I'm powerful. It's like, no. Wasn't the point of that message. But people it's not even misinterpretation. They try to make it out. These people try to make issues and things out of nothing. And when they can't prove people are actually misogynist or whatever the fuck they want to say, because they throw these words around too. They just throw them around. I guess I'm not really going into much advanced reasoning, but they just throw these words around that are really kind of impactful. Like really impactful, big words that have like dramatic meaning. And everyone who's a conservative and disagrees with them are Nazis. By their own definition, that is. I don't think that way. By their own definition, though. White supremacists, even though the people, like, sometimes they'll just say it. Like, I was on Twitter the one time. I was debating the one guy, right? And I'm like, the guy called me a white supremacist. I'm like, nah, no, dude, I just hate people. I was saying my kind of ideology is closer to mistrophancy. I can't think how to pronounce that, but it's kind of the hatred of man. And oh man, he reads mankind. He reads man. Like he reads just men. He hates men. No, when I mean man, I mean like mankind, like general, like the human race, if you will. Because people don't know definitions of actual words, because man was generally another word used for human. Because that was what people said, and that's kind of what people say, like when they're having kind of joking conversations. And another thing is, if you put something from their side, they're like, no, it's different. How? They said it's assaulting conservatives and assaulting other people who are white or whatever is okay. Like, these are the same people who are white most of the time, too. They say that's okay, right? They think that's assault's okay. So I show them some leftist terrorist group called Antifa, right? They attack conservatives and shit, but it's fine because they do it. But if we attack them, it's a hate crime. Hate crime if we do it, but if they do it, all fine and dandy, because they're fucking dumbass progressives like that. I just put them as progressives. They're one group. I was originally going to do this as a three-parter, but this topic's way too easy to cover. They're all dictators, all of them. People are gonna demonetize because they say Hitler, but that's what it is. What these dictators are. He was a dictator, right? He was a dictator. His whole thing started by he started to silence people. He started to control the media. He started to control shit. Started to control what people can and can't say. This is what's happening with liberals and happening with this kind of progressive era. They want They want dictator status. They want to be in control and manipulate the people. Manipulate kind of the common scope and what they can and can't say. And I see this. It all starts with this kind of control. Then it leads to when they have this control over everyone. It starts. That's how it starts, though. But then they have more. Then they start having more control, And it hits a point where then they start being oppressive. I don't mean the kind of SJW kind of oppressive where it's like, he called me a name. No, I mean like straight up like vindictive control of kind of really, really bad institution type of shit. It all starts at this basic kind of control, and it keeps going, gets worse. And think about it this way: the progressives are like, government, give us control what we say and what we can't say. Like, what the fuck do you want that for? Like, I can get if you don't want someone saying, oh, fake, 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 because you people are fucking like that, but why do you want government to control what you say? Like, you just gave them control over what you do, what you can't say. A lot of these times, they call themselves fakes. So, yeah, you're kind of asking shit to happen. And, also, there's also kind of shit where people, especially progressives, they'll be like, not even progressive, just black people too, they'll be like, don't call us niggers, but I'm gonna call myself a nigger if we go to sentence. It's like, it's retarded. If you don't want to be called something, you don't say it constantly. Right? You don't be like, I don't want to be called this, but I'm gonna call myself it. It's like, I'm a dumbass, but no one else can call me a dumbass, just me. I can just call people dumbasses, because I'm entitled to that, but you're not. It's entitlement, that's what it is. That's what this progressive status is. It's entitlement. It's fucking entitlement, that's what it is. It's a bunch of entitled, whiny little brats. Bunch of brats, just keyboard warriors, just, I disagree with you, and oh man. And the thing is, these governments pander to these idiots. Like, I'm fucking tired of shit, and I can out-debate them. Like, there's a time where I was legitimately fucking drugged, and I was out-debating them. Like, they can't out-debate people who are actually drugged. That's the amount of intelligence they actually possess, but... They also think gay is a genetic. Like, you're genetically born to be gay. Okay, well, let me ask you a basic question here, any fags watching. If you can't pass on your genes, then how's it genetic? Right? If you can't have kids, how is it genetic? Right? You can't pass on genes that aren't recessive, right? So, I'm going at it with a girl, that kid can't inherit any gay genes, right? Because, you can't inherit gay genes because gays can't reproduce. So that's physically impossible as an action. So that excuse is impossible. People try to make that excuse. And anyone who thinks that is fucking retarded. It's like, oh, you just disagree with my opinion. That makes you no. It just makes no sense. That's why you're retarded. It makes no sense. And also, there's the idea of mental illnesses. Okay, this is an easy worm to kill. People really think that those people are mentally ill. I believe there's mental issues, but I don't believe actual mental illness is a concept. Let me get into why. See, there's ADD, all this shit. Hyperactive disorder. I'm using this as the first example. I'm gonna go into other ones after, but, it's just literally hyperactive. It's the hyperactive disorder, attention deficit. Literally, it's just overactive hyperness, and I think labeling that as a disorder is dumb. You got a bit of energy, okay? It doesn't make you fucking disabled. It's the most retarded argumentation ever. Oh yeah, and the best one, the best fucking one, the best fucking one ever. Defiant disorder. You go against authority. Oh yeah, you know all this, all these disorders and all this is regulated by the medical association. So the government is using this as a platform to control speech. That's what they are using this for. And another point. Attention deficit disorder has no basis. There's no actual logic to it. Even being hyper I can kind of see as an argument. But being defiant is like, I don't see it, right? Because if you're defiant, doesn't mean you're disabled. It just means you don't like, you're defiant. You don't like, so were the slaves who stood up and defied against slavery, defiant disorder, because they defied against a concept they disagreed with? It's there's so many words you could stretch. I know you could say that's a stretch, but there's no kind of basis to where you can put this shit, right? And I'm gonna go into another one. This is just gonna be controversial. This isn't progressivism at this point. I'm just talking about kind of medical standards. I'm just gonna label it as progressive because it's an easy thing to do, and people are gonna probably find it a lot easier. The status of which, like, what people say, right? Those, like, there's an issue. There's a very big issue that people aren't going to talk about. Women have so much power over men. If I said, okay, this woman forced herself on me, that woman, she's not gonna go to jail, right? If I said she forced herself upon me, she did this, yada yada, right? If I said that, she wouldn't go to jail. But if she accused me of it, no evidence, no nothing, I would go to jail. Because the legal system's corrupt. That's the simplistic of it. But then again, like this whole rape war, I know people are gonna probably fucking flag the shit out of this because of that, but I don't care. I have my right to say what I want. So, like, if I'm going out, like, this literally makes a fear for men to go out with women, right? Because if I'm a man, right? Like, I am a man. Oh, what the fuck am I saying? I'm a man, right? So I'm gonna go look for some pussy, right? So I'm gonna go look for some woman to go with, right? And we stay together for a night, have a time, right? Then the next day, right? She could say it's rape, and there's not much I can say or do to disprove that, right? Because it's just sex objectively. Like, the objective of it is sex, right? It's just basic kind of intercourse, right? But it's forced. But you can't prove that it is forced or not. People like to say, oh, there's tattoos and shit. It's like, okay. Then you could just stretch it to say, yeah, it was a bit hardy or a bit rough or whatever shit. You can stretch it to that. But at the end of the day, it's what you say versus what she says. And oftentimes, what she's saying got a lot more bagging than what you're saying. So, this is also why a lot of, like, there's a movement called movements who don't want to go out with women, because they have this political power to pretty much say, yeah, what happened is not what actually happened, because what we have is you did the deed with us, and we have political power over you now and leverage, because you can't really disprove on what the basis of what I'm saying, right? So, as a man in the situation, you're pretty much forced to do whatever the fuck she says. But if you're like me, you wouldn't give a fuck and be like, yeah, go fuck ahead. But there's people who get pressured by this, and there's situations where people get abused by this, but they don't report on that. No, it's the victim. It's the woman that gets reported. Always a woman. Man never gets any kind of credibility. Go on any kind of thing, or any news network, big news network, or any kind of corporate media site. Try to find, you probably find one if it's a fake, or if it's some fucking girl who thinks, some guy who thinks he's a girl. You'll probably find shit for them. But I mean, like, men. Like, real men, not like fucking pussies and shit. I mean, real men. You'll never find anything actually defending the real man. And that's the issue. We have a kind of society that's, you know, people like to say men are internally misogynized. It's the exact opposite. Most of us really don't care. We kind of fucked off, a lot of us at this point. Like, for me, I never had anything happen of, like, girls, but I got scammed out of money and shit because girls are vindictive as shit. Like, that's the reason why I could say from my experiences. They'll vindict you for money and yada yada. But it's no real, like, as I said in my relationship video, it's not worth doing this. But back to progressivism, because I'm getting way off topic. They all believe everything's some kind of racism or misogyny, despite them all never really experiencing it. Oh yeah, did I mention they consider, like, they consider verbal, like, talking an assault, right? Like, just verbal speech assault, which I think is retarded, but teach their own, right? Teach their own retarded beliefs, teach their own retarded beliefs. What the fuck was I talking about again? What point was I on? Fuck again. each of their own. Oh yeah. If I'm like, there's examples of this happening. They consider a guy of his friends. Like if I'm sitting down with a bunch of guys on my table, I'm like, oh yeah, that girl got booty. She got nice booty. Right? Like I could say a lot of men and a lot of guys do this. Like I've done it. Everyone done. Everyone has done this at one point or another. Women, men, whatever. They've all looked at a girl, a guy, if you're a woman or if you're a man, whatever, whatever gender you are. For me, I've looked at women and be like, yeah, you got a nice ass, yada yada, whatever. But that's considered they consider that an assault. Like, but that's what these progressives consider an assault. I'm like, okay, you're crazy. You're fucking crazy. They also consider kissing to be an assault. Like, if you just kind of forcibly kiss on someone, it's an assault, apparently. Because logic. See, they can't see what they do is, it started with, oh yes, sex can be an assault. Just sex can be an assault charge. Now it's kissing and hugging can be charging. Oh man, don't hug me or you're assaulted. If you forcibly hug me, it's an assault, motherfucker. How dare you? Oh man, does anyone, when they try to argue these points, like talk to themselves and be like, that sounds fucking retarded? Like logistically just be like, that sounds kinda retarded, like as an argument. But no one thinks that because they don't have a fucking brain. Not claiming I'm genius Kane the Great, but these progressives don't have much mind or common sense to them. Be like, but you say every fucking minute, and what do you people say? You don't talk much better. I'm not expecting perfect grammar out of you. I'm just expecting you to display your points well enough, right? But we can't even get that. So I guess this is kind of my first part of progressive video. This is Bob74H. I was gonna say, I had a catchphrase I was gonna say, but the Bob74H out, and have a horrible day, a good day, whatever. I don't really care.